What's up? I'm back. In this segment, I'm going to talk about psychic ability, but from a healer's perspective. Now, I know it's funny. Being a psychic and being a healer is not something that the regular world would link together, and that, in essence, is the problem. Psychics, the way you see them today, are beings who can basically have a more extrasensory perception than the regular person, so they can basically glean things about you or about events um, faster than the average person. So when surrounded by the average people, they would be called psychic. What happens to a lot of these beings, except the extraordinary ones? You count people like Nostradamus and the people who are really famous. I'm not talking about those beings, but what happens to the average psychic, especially like let's say psychics that you might call in a hotline, is that because they're not really using their gift for how it was intended, they lose their ability. And you may say, well, how are you going to say how the gift was originally intended? Psychic ability was actually intended for healing, believe it or not. See, in the past, when you would go to a witch doctor or alchemist, a shaman, a witch who was powerful in the healing arts, they may sometimes need psychic ability to be able to basically scan your body to be able to see imbalances that exist. And from those imbalances, they would then treat you. In a sense, this was considered much higher than even going to the doctor and taking a blood test now, because you'll be able to also pick up imbalances in karma as well, because some diseases are imbalancement of karma. So, for instance, if you see a psychic who says, "Oh yeah, I could tell you who's your soulmate, who's your twin flame." Soulmates and twin flames, especially soulmates, because twin flames might be more, it could be romantic, but more of it is more like the two people healing the world. Like they become like they're like healers or teachers. It could be romantic, but the first essence of a twin flame relationship is probably supposed to be more the job you have. But a soulmate relationship is definitely one that's definitely romantic, no matter what. And in essence, it's more like you two people coming together, and those two people come together heal each other. So in essence, the psychic who's able to see that ends up being a stronger psychic. The psychic who can't see that eventually loses their gift. You may say, how do they lose their gift? Well, everything in nature pulls itself back from you if you don't use it the way it was properly intended to be used. This is why sometimes you see when you get into, let's say, higher orders, higher initiate orders, or sometimes some of you may know immortal orders. Psychic to them is not like psychic to the regular person in the world. The regular person in the world, what they call psychic, is usually somebody who has some extrasensory perception, but they mix a little psychology with it, and then they decode based on that. But you have what I like to call omega and alpha psychics that they can see everything about you, even your past lives, even your karma now. But that is not supposed to be meant to be used for flash or for ego or bravado. That's actually supposed to be meant to be used to heal people, because sometimes people don't even know what's wrong with them. So as a healer, and sometimes blood tests is sometimes may not catch karmic problems, problems based on karma, your ancestors, or sometimes blood tests miss those too. So being a psychic actually makes you a better healer. And sometimes because both healers and psychics don't know that, is why we're having a stoppage or blocks or a slowdown of people being healed, because what happens is that we're not able to put all these things together. But in essence, you're psychic if you're born like that. If you fuse yourself with healing arts and learn, because another thing is when you fuse yourself with healing arts, you actually learn to heal yourself. See, what happens too is that I don't know. I mean, I spoke about it in this channel, but in my other channel, I always speak about energy work. And energy work, it's like yoga. It's yoga. Yoga is part of energy work. You basically learn to heal yourself, and you actually learn to exercise both your body and physical and spiritual body. And in a sense, you actually strengthen your astral body and your energetic body. That's energy work. So when you look at it from that perspective, if you're a healer, and let's say you're a healer and a psychic, you can heal yourself, you could harness your psychic gifts more, and you could keep your psychic gifts more. Because if you look at most psychics, the gift tends to leave them as they get older, to be honest. Um, that part of that is because they don't know how to heal themselves. So number one, they're not using the gift the way they're supposed to. Number two, they're picking up emotional scars, maybe even picking up physical scars from bad diet, and that actually affects their psychic ability. And then when you add on that they're not using the psychic ability the way it's supposed to be used, well then that's the problem. So when people don't look at healers and psychics as two different things, that's where the problem first starts. If you're a healer, if you're a psychic, you're supposed to be a healer. They go hand in hand. That's why the source or nature didn't give you that gift just to be flashing around and acting deep. They gave you that gift to be able to help people when people don't even know what's wrong with themselves. So hope that's able to help. Short and sweet. Till next time. Peace.